Hi, hello, welcome back. This time, I don't have 4 books for you, I have 6. Okay, first up, Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. Jane Eyre is a Bildungsroman, which is like a life's journey, or not a life's journey, but like a adolescence journey. Google the definition. Okay, Jane Eyre. You follow Jane Eyre. She starts out as an orphan, and then she goes to a kind of like a boarding school. I think kind of like a boarding school. We'll call it a boarding school. And then she becomes a teacher there, and then she goes on to become the governess for Mr. Rochester, who is he's like 20 years older than her, I think. And he's ugly. They say that a lot. Apparently that's important. And, yeah, there's a lot of little romantic tension between Jane and Mr. Rochester. They have a lot of back and forth. It's, I wouldn't call it witty. That makes it sound too, like, lighthearted. It's almost, like, argumentative. He's kind of like poking her and getting her to, almost pushing her to her limit and like kind of trying to make her explode at him and be almost more expressive, maybe? More confident in her views, say what she really thinks kind of thing. I don't know, should I give you all the spoilers? This was written in 1847, so I think we're good. There are gonna be some spoilers here, so if you haven't read Jane Eyre yet, which I think you should, spoiler alert for the spoiler alert, this is a 5-star read for me. I think you should go read this. Skip ahead. Go to the next book. Yeah. And then, wow, Jane and Mr. Rochester, they're gonna get married. But actually, no, they're not, because he has a secret attic wife who has also been, like, haunting them. Which, no one talks about Jane Eyre like a horror novel. I guess it's a gothic, so maybe that's kind of implied. But the first little bit of this where she's at, Thornfield, and Bertha, the attic wife, is kind of breaking out of her room and coming downstairs and tormenting all of them a few times. That's like kind of scary. I wish there was more of that actually, because it was really fun. It was actually like really scary. Yeah, anyway, attic wife, no more wedding. Jane goes away, but she forgets all her money in a little horse cab. So now she's destitute and going around begging, and she ends up on the door of these people. And if you've read the book, you know the rest. You know how it goes. If you haven't read the book, you should go read the book. I'm not going to tell you the rest of this. Jane Eyre is a 5-star book for me. I think this is an almost perfect book, in my opinion. It's very well written. Charlotte Bronte is very eloquent, but she's also very clear. Sometimes, in some of these, the older books, like Lord of the Rings even, you're reading it and you're like, okay, this is the 5th paragraph about this one specific tree, please get me out of here. And I've never felt that way with Jane Eyre. It was actually really easy to read. Now, I did start this in April and finish it in June, but that's because it's like 500 pages. Yeah, similar to like a Jane Austen book, I think you can tell that Charlotte Bronte is very, very smart. Partially because of the way Mr. Rochester and Jane interact. They're very smart together, they're very witty together, very intelligent. In the way Jane and Mr. Rochester go head-to-head a lot. Yeah, this is a very smart book. It's very well done. I definitely think you should go read it. Also, my hot take about the ending of Jane Eyre is that I think it makes perfect sense that she ends up back with Mr. Rochester. I really like the ending of Jane Eyre too. I think it makes sense for Jane's storyline, right? She's finally come into herself. She herself has chosen Mr. Rochester. I liked it a lot. But I think people don't like the fact that he kept his secret crazy wife in the attic and that Jane is like 20 years younger than him, and I think they think he's problematic. But I also think this was written in 1847, and it was Charlotte Bronte's choice. Love overcomes gaslighting. I don't know. That is not my inspirational quote. Okay, I also, as you can tell, I got this in the Penguin Classics edition, which I've mentioned before. It's kind of iffy because all the paint comes off on your hands. But also, the introduction of this book and whoever was in charge of doing the introduction and the endnotes drove me a little insane. It was like we were making too many crazy connections. We're trying a little too hard. There's one point in the introduction, I wish I could find it, but whoever's writing this intro literally just starts rhyming things with Eyre and going, wow, Charlotte Bronte was so smart when she chose Eyre as Jane's last name. Look at all these words that rhyme with it. I am not kidding you. That was Jane Eyre. Okay, the next book I read, The Rest of the Story by Sarah Dessen. This is a YA book, fun fact. And this is about Emma Saylor, who goes back to this lake town that her mother lived in and spent a lot of time at. And now she goes back, and it's about the conflict between the wealthier end of the lake town and the town where a lot of the employees live on the lake, and there's tension there, and then there's also a romance portion. This was fun. It was light. It's a YA romance. It's cute. There's a lot of summer vibes. It was nice for June. I did think the characters were well done in this. They were pretty believable as people, and they were, like, memorable characters without falling into stereotypes, which was nice. Yeah, this was 4 stars for me. It was nice. It was enjoyable. It's summer. Hi, Bug. Okay, next, we have the entire Summer I Turned Pretty series. The last book we talked about made me want to both rewatch the show and read these books, try it out, and they were fun. All 3 of these books were 3 stars for me, which is good. Okay, this series is about Isabel Conklin, who has always been going to Cousin's Beach with her family, specifically her mom's best friend, who has 2 sons, and she ends up in this big love triangle that takes place over the course of 3 books with these 2 brothers. These books, same deal. These books are fun, they're light, they're summery. I got through all 3 of these books in like 3 days, I think, so they're pretty easy to read. They're not super... Look, these books are not going to change your life. They're not going to make you have a huge revelation and change up your life for the best, but they're fun. Excuse me, you're sitting on my reading log. It's a fun concept, it makes for a good story. I was interested, I was engaged. I do think the TV show's better. It follows the books pretty solid, while also changing things that I think are good to be changed. These are like written in 2009, 2010, 2011, so there are some very early 2000s sayings and things that'll make you cringe, but it's not that bad. I will say, I was not a huge fan of the last one. I didn't enjoy the wedding plot. Also, I don't know, spoilers for you people who want to watch the TV show, which I think the last season is coming out in July, so you skip ahead if you don't want to know what happens in the 3rd book. Yeah, I wasn't a big fan of the wedding plot. I don't know, it just felt kind of silly. And also, yes, of course she should end up with Conrad. No Place Like Home by Mary Higgins Clark. Look, this video is full of books where I say, I enjoyed it, I don't necessarily know if you should go read it, and this is another one. This is a pure nostalgia read for me. I love a good Mary Higgins Clark. If you don't know, she writes a lot of did write, very procedural mystery novels. You're gonna go into it, you're gonna have a fun female protagonist who wears lots of nice 80s, 90s clothes, and then she gets involved in a mystery. Oh no, she's in danger, she's fine, everything's fine, we're happy. This one, in particular, is about Liza Barton, who shot her mother trying desperately to protect her from her estranged stepfather. And then, many years down the line, Liza Barton is grown up, she's changed her name, she's gotten married, she has a kid, and then her husband buys the house that she shot her mother in. Whoa, this is fine. This is 3 stars. I think I've actually read this before, which I did not realize. Also, big plot point in this book is that her husband buys her this house as a birthday present, without having a discussion of do you want to buy this? Should we buy a house? Do you want to buy this house? She's just like, here, I bought you a house, and it's in your name. Which is actually a psychopathic thing to do. Don't buy someone a house as a present, at least show them a picture.
Jim did it in the office, but he was a douchebag too.
Exactly. Good. Was that enough? Did I do fine? Okay, good. This week, I am reading Girl in Pieces by Kathleen Glasgow. This author came across on my Instagram, and so I followed her, and then it made me want to reread this book. And also reading I'm in a YA phase, which hasn't happened since I was a YA. This book is about Charlotte Davis, this book is a deeply moving portrait of a girl in a world that owes her nothing and has taken so much, and the journey she undergoes to put herself back together. I've always really liked this one. This is another nostalgia read for me. I'll tell you about it when I'm done. What am I listening to? This week, I'm listening to Hey Nothing. I talk about them a lot. They're my favorite band. It's my go-to. It's what I'm listening to. If you want to listen to Hey Nothing, you should go listen to Sick Dogs. That's a good song. And this week, I'm watching Earnhardt. It's a documentary about Dale Earnhardt. It's very good. Okay, thanks for watching. Was any of that interesting? I don't know. You tell me. Don't forget, subscribe. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. But before we go away for good, I think we should see what Tiny Zendaya is up to. Tiny Zendaya is reading Loves Music, Loves to Dance by Mary Higgins Clark. Do you need help, Tiny Zendaya?